Over this past week, I have learned so much about myself, and it's interesting to see how the experiences that I'm having in my life, a lot of other guys are resonating with in my interactions with men throughout the week. And a big reason why I wanted to just start shooting, hit the record button and go is because I get insights all the time now, whether it's in the gym, after jiu-jitsu session, where I'm having a walk, eating food, in the shower, when I wake up, whatever it may be. I get these insights all the time. And when I try and condense it into a single post, whether it's on LinkedIn or Instagram, I struggle with that a bit. Just trying to condense it to one thing, because my mind, I've got many different layers to it. So for me to take just one very simple observation and post it, my brain's going to go, oh, but you should have said this, or you could have said this, or what about that? And if I do get around to posting it, it would have taken about 2 hours of my day. And I thought, well, rather than kind of perfecting everything and fighting against this way of being and trying to force it, why not just make things easier? Just talk directly to you. And I think that way, hopefully we can get my message across. This past week or so, I competed in jiu-jitsu. It was my second tournament as a blue belt. And I signed up for the REORG Spring Open, which is a really cool competition supporting a lot of ex-military guys. I believe there's like para-athletes? Is that what you call it? Not Paralympians, but I think you get the idea. And really nice tournament. A lot cleaner, I should say, than All-Stars, which was the first tournament I competed in. But just very simple, 6 mats. You knew where you had to be. Not too many crazy time changes. Wasn't really, really noisy like the busier ones. So really nice tournament. But there's a reason why I chose this tournament. For context, I competed back in January at the All-Stars, first ever blue belt tournament. And I was very proud of myself for finishing it. But there was a part of me that, even though I finished it and it was a great show of courage and strength to finish, I knew I could have done better, particularly against the guys who I faced in the finals. So I got 2 silvers after entering 2 different competitions. There were 2 guys I faced in the finals. One of them actually competed the week before this latest one in Naga, and he won it. And he's a fierce competitor. He competes all the time. And there was a part of me, there was this feeling in my body when I saw that, where it was like, do you know what? I would have loved to have, seen how I would have done this time. I would have loved to have given him a go and had a proper battle. So it was this really tense feeling in my body. I took that as a sign, like, oh man, I don't want to miss the next one. Then I looked at the other tournaments coming up, and the next week there was the REORG Open. And I saw that the other guy who I was in the final with at the previous tournament, he was entering that one. And I saw that there were quite a few guys entering the different competitions. And I had such a strong feeling in my body. I was like, hang on, I really need to enter this now, because I needed to prove to myself that I could beat this guy and the other guys as well. So that's what I did. I signed up for it. I signed up for 4 different divisions because I wanted as much as possible. So there was the ultra heavy no gi, there was the ultra heavy gi, absolute gi, and absolute no gi. I looked at it, I thought, okay, if we get to the finals, we're looking at around seven matches. I thought, I can do that. I've sparred for an hour hard sparring before. It won't be too different to that. Obviously, if you've competed before, you'll know it is very different. But I was so keen to compete and prove to myself that I could do it. Because last time I wasn't in my best condition physically. I had a bit of a cold. I was on nicotine as well. I was on nicotine gum. And even though I was under the illusion at that point that nicotine was beneficial for me, it was helping me focus, it was helping me, concentrate, whatever it may be, it came to my attention that all of it was just an illusion, really. It was an excuse to get that dopamine high. And sure, did it help me concentrate? Maybe. But the downsides completely outweighed the upsides to it. Like, my body just felt so bad. And it was only when I felt so unfit during the competition where I started to question it, because I know for a fact I'm not unfit, but I can go quite a few rounds. And yet I was struggling. And after my second bout, I was just done. My adrenaline was through the roof. I think I had a coffee as well. I was on caffeine at the time. So I had all these substances, and there was a part of me that was thinking, I run out of steam. And I know when I'm looking after myself and when I feel at my best, I can perform at my best and I can do really well. So there were all these elements, right, that went into the first competition. And there was this feeling in me like I can do better. So I signed up for the reorg. And by this point, I've actually got caffeine out of my diet, got rid of nicotine as well, because I realized just how much it was affecting my performance. It actually I think it's called vasoconstriction. So it was actually restricting the amount of blood flow I could get to my muscles, to my heart. And went off the nicotine and then went off the caffeine. And when I went off the caffeine, I weaned off it and I noticed all these emotions coming to the surface that I hadn't really dealt with properly before. And that's when it occurred to me that, the caffeine was suppressing my emotions by infiltrating my nervous system. It made me quite on edge. I'd get these up and down spikes. And so I was quite oblivious to reality at that point, because I was just so in my zone, in my own space, in my own universe, that I wasn't giving much attention to my emotions. It's not that I was flat out ignoring them, but they were suppressed. They weren't coming out because I was so focused on my business, my everyday life. And on caffeine, I also found that I had more ups and downs as well. I was kind of like a bit more unstable. Even though you wouldn't guess it, looking at me, it definitely impacted my mood. I would have a big crash during the afternoon. It just wasn't very stable. And so I got off the caffeine, got off the nicotine, and this time I had no excuse. And I was so keen. I thought, right, 7 matches, I'm going to win. I can win all 7 of those. And that's what I did. So as I've been talking, I've added in a couple of my matches. Very physical. It was a bit disorganized. There was a lot of chaos going on. I was competing in all these divisions. I would finish my gi match and they'd put me in the no gi and then the gi again. And then one of the guys would come up to me, "Where are you?" I said, "Well, I'm doing what this guy told me to do." And he said, "No, you should listen to him. You should finish your division first." So it was a bit chaotic. Anyway, managed to get through the day. I had 7 matches. I won 7, 4 by submission. Yeah, it was a wicked feeling. Such a wicked feeling. I can't quite describe it. That feeling when he raises your hand at the end of a hard fought match, man, like no one can take that away from you. It was interesting in the lead up to it because I could kind of feel the nerves brewing, but at the same time I was confident in my abilities. And so what I found helped me was doing lots of breath work beforehand. I was very calm, I was very present, and then I went in for my first match. And once I think I get the first one out of the way, then I'm in the zone. I'm like, right, cool, we've got a win under our belt. Let's go again. It's got me thinking or entertaining this idea of like a match archetype, like switching the flick on or flicking the switch on rather. You're able to go into this fighter mode. It's something I hadn't really considered before, but it was only when I was catching up with the guys at my jiu-jitsu club, Resistance, and they were talking to me about a chap called Dan Strauss, whose whole brand is the Raspberry Ape, and how before he goes into his matches, he'll have a ritual, whether it's tapping the ground, I believe he does some type of movement, and he goes into fighter mode. It made me think like, I could do with a bit of that, because I'll have this like persona outside of the ring. I'll meet up with the jiu-jitsu competitors, and a lot of them, I mean, great lads. I've made some good connections with them already, the guys who I was fighting with. But then when you're actually on the mat, man, it's a different ball game. And so it's got me thinking about what archetype can I create. So I'll still do the breath work and calming my nervous system. But hey, maybe that's Harrison, who's got all these not doubts coming up, but little voices, the heart rate's going fast. That's Harrison. When I'm going onto the mat, I can flick a switch. Now I'm the warrior. So that's the archetype I'm going to be working on. And it's interesting, this idea of the archetypes, because it's come up in quite a few conversations recently. Even just now, I had a podcast and we're talking about these different archetypes, how when we show up in everyday life, we can be authentic, yet still showing different parts of ourselves to different people. So when I first started this journey of breaking free from people pleasing, I thought I had to be this 100% authentic, the same person everywhere I went. What I found with this strategy, this belief, is that there was a lot of tension, right? I created this grounded warrior archetype and I felt like I had to be this grounded warrior all the time. Whereas the reality is, I'm a multidimensional being. I've got very different interests. I've got different friends for different activities. I know some people from pro wrestling, from jiu-jitsu, some people I know through business, from a podcast. And so there's all these different elements. And yes, I'm always going to be Harrison. I'm always going to be me. I'm never going to change myself to suit everyone else or to make someone else more comfortable. But I'm going to have the discernment to go, right, which archetype, which part of me should I show to this person right now? So I love the warrior. I love the warrior archetype. I'm going to show up as that guy here, for example. I'm going to show up as that guy on my social media platforms when I'm helping men become more self-led. I'm going to become that guy, I think, on the jiu-jitsu mats. I'm going to be that warrior. And the reason why I like the warrior is because the warrior has a mission. He's focused. He's decisive. He knows what he wants. He's not interested in all the petty ego stuff. And that's what I really resonate with, and something that I'll probably carry with me in most of my interactions, because that's who I perceive myself as and where I'm going. But there's other archetypes as well. I got introduced to a book called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, and they talk about these 4 different archetypes. And so when you read up about these archetypes, you realize, oh yeah, like I'm not always going to be the warrior. A good example I use is with my girlfriend. She doesn't want to see the warrior the whole time, even though I'm sure she likes that part of me, but she might want a bit of a lover or a bit of king leadership energy. And so we need these different archetypes to balance ourselves out. And we're not always going to show certain parts of ourselves to certain people too. For some people, they're not going to be ready to receive the depth of who we are, especially if they haven't gone that deep within themselves. So it's still authentic of me to go, okay, I'm 100% Harrison. Do I even know what 100% Harrison is? Probably not. I probably only know maybe 80% of it. That's a guess or an example. But to some people who I don't really resonate with, or maybe I do resonate with them, but we have a different type of relationship, I'm not going to go that deep with them. So I'm only going to show them 20% of me, whether it's a serious side, whether it's just keeping things surface level. And that is where discernment comes in. I think we can, have these different archetypes, access them while still being 100% authentic. And I think that can really help us navigate this sort of stuff. Because I struggled with this for quite a while, because I thought, right, I'm Harrison, I'm the podcast guy. Yeah, with these guys, I'm Harrison, the pro wrestler. But with these guys, I'm Harrison, the jiu-jitsu practitioner. And when you keep it so separate, that can, at least for me, it caused some issues with my identity. Who actually am I? And it actually made me less authentic, or just made me overthink stuff. And so now I'm just, right, I'm Harrison. I'm not tied to these one roles or things or identities. I'm a multidimensional guy who plays roles, but those aren't me. And I can choose based off of who I'm interacting with, which part of me they get access to. And it's through more lived experience where I kind of build my discernment, or like a feeling of like, okay, let's see how we interact here. What's my game plan? Now, when I won this jiu-jitsu tournament, it gave me such a big sense of confidence, just overwhelming sense of confidence, and to an extent peace as well, but really strong confidence, especially over the last 2 or 3 days after. And it really got me thinking, like, man, I want to bring this confidence with me into all my areas of my life, whether it's in my relationship, my business. Yeah. If I can stay in that state, then man, I'm a powerful man. And yeah, if I'm being totally honest, I haven't always connected to that feeling. I think it comes and goes, or at least for me, it comes and goes. And yeah, I think it's very probable that we can have confidence in certain areas of our life, but in other areas, we're still quite new to it. That's where the growth lies. That's where we're a bit uncomfortable. But yeah, until we've put the reps in, then we're not going to build that confidence. And I think a big reason why now in jiu-jitsu I feel more confident with things, even though I've got a long way to go to mastering the sport. It's been about 2.5 years where I've shown up consistently, and I had no idea what I was doing at first. But now I've got a fair bit of an idea with the amount of time I've spent doing it, practicing the sport. And so if we can learn to embody that confidence in one area of our life, I think the skill then becomes, right, can we access that feeling? What does that feel like? And can we spread it across all the other areas of our lives, even when we're still building up that confidence, we're still quite exposed to these different areas. And it also got me thinking about this mindset, because when I step into it, I'm operating at a totally different frequency, if you will. I've got so much confidence, and there I am, and I'm thinking, do you know what? Like, I'm owning who I am. Like, I've got proof that I can do this stuff. Like, yeah, I've just won a competition. I've just beaten 7 guys. And I know you hear this quite a lot in jiu-jitsu, and it teaches you a lot about life. And you hear this, like, be humble and, stay grounded. And I think chances are, if you're like me, you don't have it's not a difficult thing to stay grounded. It's not a difficult thing at all, because I grew up with quite a lot of low self-esteem as a kid. So when I do well at things, I embrace it. It feels nice, and it gives me that confidence to go on and do other things as well. If there's anything to take away from this, I would say it's okay, it's fine to be confident. And so if you've had a history of low self-esteem, yes, it's good to surround yourself with people who aren't yes men and will tell you how it is and will keep you grounded. But chances are, if you have lived your life with low self-esteem, then yeah, like that confidence is going to be, it's not going to be in surplus, right? So embrace it. Don't be scared to embrace confidence. And if you do feel a sense of judgment from people, from owning who you are and embracing your achievements, then yeah, I think you can question, like, okay, who are these people? What are their motivations? Are they acting out of fear? Do they have my best interests in mind? Have they been on the path that I've been on? And if they haven't, then hell, who cares if they think you're cocky or arrogant? Just own it. And I found for me, there was so much tension in my life because I was trying to subdue that. I thought, I can't be the cocky guy, the arrogant guy, the loud guy. I'm just going to stay quiet. It's cool to be humble. And yeah, like it's nice to be grounded. But man, don't deny who you are. If you feel good in yourself and if you feel confident, you feel like you could take on the world, maybe you have a couple hidden qualities, whatever it may be, man, own it. Like, don't be scared to be bold and embrace it. Don't shy away from it. Yeah, that's what I took away from that. It's like, man, because I felt unstoppable. After that tournament. I felt like I could take on the world. And what was really interesting was that in the lead up to that tournament, I was navigating a bit of a tricky time. I was having a bit of a wobble, and I've been in that situation countless times now. So I've got the tools. I know that it's only temporary and I'm going to get through it. It can disarm the situation, right? But I had several challenges going on in my life. And what I found was after that tournament, the challenges, or the perceived challenges, they didn't change. They were still there. But my perspective just completely did a 180. And my state of being was so different. I was peaceful, I was self-assured, I was confident. I could take on the world. It didn't matter if, my relationships kind of went through a bit of a bad period. It wouldn't matter if something happened with my business, with my podcast. I could deal with it. I could deal with whatever challenges could come up. And so I think it's a good reminder, whatever your challenges are, sometimes I think we can rush to trying to change the situation. Oh, what are we going to do? We resist it. We're like, no, we've got to save this. We've got to save this. It's not the situation often that needs changing. It's just our perspective. And so what I encourage you to do, if there's a niggling thing going on in your life currently, and you're not seeing many changes happen, it's kind of the same thing repeating itself over and over. Yes, we can take action. Yes, we can hold ourselves accountable and make the desired change. But often it just requires a change in perspective or a change in your internal state. This is really important because when we're not in that peaceful state, when we're not calm and grounded, then everything's going to seem out of place. Like the amount of times where I've made an edit, for example, or I've done something for a client, I've done a piece of work and I'm a bit stressed because I've been working for 3 hours. I'll look at the final product and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. This is awful. Not a fan of this. Oh, what have I done the last 3 hours? I'll go for a walk. I'll take a break, I'll reset, I'll do my breath work, I'll come back and I'm like, oh, this is great. Brilliant. Just some finishing touches, then I'm done. So this leads me on to my next point, and this is something I'm seeing with my clients recently, is that when we go into periods of overwhelm, right, and there's chaos and there's all this different stuff going on, I think what we can do is rather than trying to fix the problems in that state, which is what we do, we're men, we like to fix things straight away. What we can do is actually take a moment to ground ourselves and feel safe in our body. What I mean by this is, let's say something stressful comes up. Maybe it's money, right? I haven't been paid, or how am I going to afford this? It could be that someone's messaged you something and you're getting mixed signals and you're confused. And our body reacts a certain way, right? So our body reacts and then our mind tries to catch up. And our mind in that state is not thinking clearly. There's fear, there's anger, there's confusion, all this stuff coming up, and we try and solve it in that space. And we're never going to solve it in that space. We're just going to cause more and more overwhelm. And whatever the result is, one of my good mentors, James, he told me this. He said, if you're not grounded, if you're not in your center, don't send a message to someone. Don't send an email to someone. Don't do anything. Don't interact with people if you can, because it's never going to be the required result that you wanted, ever. Because it's energy. It's all energy, right? So the best thing we can do in these situations is feel safe in our body. Okay, right. People call them triggers. Someone who I had on the podcast, Jodie, she said, rather than triggered, someone triggered me, we can empower ourselves by saying that we got activated by something. So we get activated by an experience. Okay, we got activated by it, so we can do something about it. So rather than trying to fix it or react from that place, we can then slow down. We can breathe. We can do some breath work. We can do some grounding. We can do some meditation. We can go for a walk. Whatever it may be, then we can revisit the challenge later. And it's more often than not, it's going to seem like less of a priority, less of a mountain to climb when we can act from that space. So yeah, that's what we can do in times of struggle. And I've really started thinking about, right, the difference between struggle and discomfort, because I think we can get the two muddled up. What I've described there, that's a struggle, right? It can be quite chaotic. Some things out of alignment perhaps and might need resolving. What we have with discomfort, it's like chosen growth, right? So for example, what's uncomfortable for me? It's probably competing in that jiu-jitsu tournament. It is uncomfortable. I'm going against 7 guys. I don't know all of them. I don't know how I'm going to show up on the day. I don't know if I'm going to be with it that day. I can do my best to prepare for it. But yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable. But that's a moment for growth, right? That is discomfort. Struggle, I wouldn't define that as a struggle, because struggle is something like, oh, okay, something's not quite right in my relationship, for example, or, oh, I'm going to this job every day, but I feel like shit. I feel like crap every day going into this job, and it's a struggle to get into work. That's not discomfort. Discomfort might be, I'm in this new job. it's really exciting. And I don't really know all these systems yet and tools, but yeah, like these guys can help me along the way. And it's a bit out of my area of expertise, but I can learn. And it's uncomfortable, but it's exciting at the same time. That's what I see discomfort as. And when I look at myself, like I said, I was struggling over the past 2 weeks. There was something that wasn't quite right in my life. And I think this burning desire to compete, I think it was something within me. Yeah, we can dive into like the motivations behind it, why I competed and what I was navigating at that time. You can talk about navigating old wounds and all that stuff. But the more I reflect on it, I'm like, man, I'm a man. And I think men need a sense of conquering and achievement. I think this is just built in our DNA. Like, we need to push ourselves. And when we don't push ourselves, when we don't seek discomfort and growth, then the universe is going to give us something to be uncomfortable for. It's going to be chosen for us. So we may as well choose the thing that's going to give us a sense of discomfort and growth. And I feel like there was this burning desire in me because I'd gotten too comfortable. And I need a challenge like that. And so what I'd encourage you to do is, if you're feeling a bit of like dissatisfaction, maybe even a struggle, well, choose something to purposely, consciously tackle in your life and see where it takes you. For me, the result was, as you can probably tell, man, it gave me so many great perspective shifts, looking for that discomfort. There was this feeling in my body. Something greater than me knew that I wanted that experience. It was a feeling in my body. I couldn't escape it. And I'm so glad that I did. If you feel that feeling towards anything, just this overwhelming frustration, you're tense, whatever it may be, you feel this pull towards something. Sometimes it won't seem like a pull, but deep down, you know it's what you should be doing. Follow that, absolutely. If it's scary, even better. And what you'll find is, by chasing discomfort, you will find something and you will find your edge. And the edge is where we always have to be. The closer, I believe, we get to our edge, the closer we will get to finding our life of alignment. And what I mean by alignment is actually what makes us feel good, what makes us tick, what gives us energy. And what I found with jiu-jitsu now is that because I've kept on going over time, even when I was a beginner, I had no idea what I was doing. I really enjoy it now, and it doesn't feel like work or discipline. That's another insight that came through the other day, right? People talk about, you're so disciplined. It's like, well, am I? Because for me, discipline is doing something that you don't enjoy, but you do it anyway because you know that it's good for you. Now, I love jiu-jitsu. I think it's fantastic. I absolutely enjoy it. And so when I train 4, sometimes 5 times a week, it doesn't feel like something I have to do. I'm just doing it because I enjoy it. And the people I meet there, I'm so grateful to like the opportunities I get to spar with people, to get lessons and to get tailored advice from people who've been in the game far longer than I have. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, what a blessing that is. And to have a jiu-jitsu club that's, 10 minutes away from me. This is what I believe is alignment. It's like, it doesn't feel like work. You're just doing it because you love it and you're seeing the rewards from it. And it makes me think like, wow, I do not want anything less than alignment in all the other areas of my life. I don't want it. If it's not going to feel like that, then it's not for me. And I think I'm just done with trying to force things that I think I should be doing or that look good on paper. I just want to do what feels good for me. And I believe that I'll be rewarded for that. And so, I'd invite you to take a look at your life. Like, what areas do you believe are areas of discomfort that you can purposely choose for growth? What areas are a bit of a struggle and you're trying to force something? You find yourself procrastinating a lot of the time and you're trying to get stuff done, but the energy is just not there no matter what productivity hacks that you use. That could be a signal, and it's something to think about. That's all for this week. I'm curious to hear what landed for you. Do please let me know, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy.